Verse 48 from Surah An-Nisa speaks of a sin that is unforgivable. The verse of the Quran says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرُ أَن يُشْرَكَ بِهِ وَيَغْفِرُ مَا دُونَ ذَلِكَ لِمَن يَشَاءُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not forgive the sin of shirk, polytheism, and He forgives the sins that are smaller than that for those who He wishes. This verse of the Quran, you will find many people will quote it, many people will reference it quite often, and they will speak of shirk as the unforgivable sin. The reality is, when we put this verse alongside other verses of the Quran, we realize that technically, if someone were to repent from their sins while they are still in this world, there is no sin that is unforgivable. If a person, while he's still living his life, comes back and repents even from shirk, that sin is forgivable. The verse of the Quran is speaking of a sin that is not forgivable if someone doesn't repent from it and shows up with it on the day of judgment. Yes, the Quran clearly tells us if someone is mushrik, meaning he knowingly has turned away from Islam, and he shows up like that on the day of judgment, that sin of his is unforgivable. But that is not for someone who repents in this world. And this shows the scope of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That any sin under the sky, in reality, if you repent from it while you're still living and breathing in this world, it will be forgiven. Yes, the sin that won't be forgiven if you don't repent from it while you're still in this world is the sin of shirk. And of course, that is a group of people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks very, very harshly about in the verses of the Quran as it relates to what will happen to them on the day of judgment. Therefore, in this world, as long as I'm repenting here, there is no unforgivable sin. The only unforgivable sin is if I don't repent while I still stay here. And this is the greatness of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.